Alright, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be how I went from 230 to 175 in one summer. So whatever that math is, it's like 50-ish pounds. I'm going to get into the story of how this happened and then show you the exact things that I did in order to lose so much weight in such little time. There's a little before and after, but let's get straight into it. So this story begins at the end of high school. I was pretty big into weight training. I had a solid amount of muscle mass going into college, but as soon as I got to college, I got distracted with partying, girls, drinking, and I really stopped lifting. I did maybe a dorm room body weight workout once, maybe twice a week, but for the most part, I just quit working out. I definitely never hit legs. It was all just chest, really, and shoulders is all I cared about. And I lived on Chipotle bowls and vodka, so I had one meal that had 50 grams of protein in the day, and the rest of my calories was just drinking. So obviously I was not getting enough calories or protein to maintain the muscle mass that I had, and as a result I got really skinny. Here's a picture of me, really skinny. You can see that I have no chest, no shoulders, no arms. Legs aren't the worst things ever, but I didn't ever work them. That was just a result from the legs I built up in high school, but they were definitely diminishing. So I came home for Christmas break really skinny and flat. I lost all the muscle mass that I built up, as you can see in that past picture. And so I had this sense of like being behind. I felt like I lost everything. I'm back at zero. I need to quickly get all that muscle mass back. I need to get back to being pretty big. So I decided to do an aggressive, and I mean aggressive, dirty bulk. I ate 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day, and I didn't give a shit what it was. It wasn't like I was eating 4,000 to 5,000 calories of just beef and rice or chicken and rice. No, I was eating pizza, burgers, chocolate milk wings. I had a weird phase of like eating Panda Express every single day. It was terrible. During this time, I trained upper body maybe once a week, and this is kind of weird, but I really consistently hit legs. I was obsessed with getting to this big squat number. So it was kind of opposite of what most people do. Most people hit only upper body and no legs, but I did the opposite. I hit really only legs 2 to 3 times a week, and then I would train upper body once a week. So I still wasn't on this consistent weight training routine besides legs, and I was eating absolute shit. So one day during spring semester, while I was back at school, I was doing this from December all the way to about middle of May. I woke up hungover at noon. I stepped on the scale and I was 230 pounds, morning weight, no food, no water in me, at 5'10". I felt fat. I felt like a lazy piece of shit. Well, I didn't feel that way. I was fat and I was a lazy piece of shit, just doing nothing, thinking I was doing a lot because, I'm in this dirty bulk, it's gonna work out, trust the process. No, I was just being a fat, lazy piece of shit. So I made a commitment to make a serious change, and it was time to go now on a serious cut. So you can see, look at that double chin on me. Good Lord. So the summer mission began. That was a picture of me really hungover with my fat double chin. You can't even see my stomach there. Thank God that shirt is baggy. Don't want to see that sight. But summer break, I was like, all right, I'm going to go on a full-on cut. I'm going to lose all this weight. And I wanted to reset my life too. It wasn't all just about fat loss. It was about getting my shit back together, not being a degenerate. So that's what I did. So I'm gonna show you how I lost 50-ish pounds in 2 to 3 months without like killing myself either. It actually wasn't too bad. So let's get into it. Here's what I did. First, 10K steps minimum every single day. I'm not a big Apple Watch guy, but during this summer, I wore my Apple Watch every single day religiously, just to track my steps. I really didn't use it for anything else. You can do it on your phone, but a lot of times I leave my phone in places and it's not tracking my steps accurately. So I wore my Apple Watch just to really make sure I was getting my steps. Most days I was hitting 13 to 14K steps a day, which is a lot. But the bare minimum, if I was like super busy one day, was 10K steps. I didn't care if it was 1 a.m. If I didn't hit 10K steps, I would go outside and go walk until I get 10K steps. This wasn't too bad for me. I avoided the treadmill because it's just dreadful. Even if you're watching a show, you're still looking at the clock every 5 minutes like, all right, am I almost there? Am I almost done? Am I almost done? So instead I opted for walking outside and getting some sunlight that made me feel really good. And it's just not as boring and not as dreadful. I would go play pickleball with friends. I got into pickleball that summer for some reason. And also, I've always loved basketball, so I would just go play basketball for 45 minutes. And that would help me get a lot of steps in. What I'm saying with that is, if you want to go on the treadmill or the Stairmaster, sure, go ahead. But I think it's kind of dreadful. There are more enjoyable ways to burn calories. Go jump on a trampoline for all I care. As long as your heart rate is getting up and you're burning calories, that's all that matters. Next, I went into a 500 calorie deficit. I never ate below a 500 calorie deficit. You see a lot of guys, and I was doing one this summer, but you see a lot of people go do an aggressive cut where they're like 1,000 calories in a deficit. That's really not required. I was already burning so many calories from walking 13 to 14,000 steps a day that I didn't really need to go into a drastic calorie deficit. And I was just eating whole nutrient-dense foods, which I know people hear that all the time, but they really do keep you more satiated and you just feel better overall. Remember, I said this in one of my videos before, to lose weight, calories control your weight, macronutrients determine your body composition, and the ingredients that you eat determine how you feel. So I was eating really whole nutrient-dense foods that had really good ingredients, so I felt good. I was eating in a calorie deficit, so I was losing weight, and I was eating a shit ton of protein, so my body composition was changing in a better way. So let's get into that. 1 gram per pound of body weight for protein. That's a given. I feel like I say that in every video, but it is just life-changing. It's gonna build muscle, it's gonna preserve muscle, it's gonna increase your metabolism, so you're gonna burn more calories just by doing nothing, and you're just gonna feel more satiated overall. At this time, I think I was eating even more. I was, at the end of the summer, 175, and I was still eating like 210 grams of protein per day. You don't have to do that, but the bare minimum should be 1 gram per pound of body weight. If I did get hungry and it wasn't time for a meal, like my breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I say breakfast because it was at noon, then I would just go snack on watermelon, strawberries, or Greek yogurt. Low calorie stuff that I could binge on, but only end up eating 200 calories worth of. If I binge eat watermelon, I'm only gonna eat about 200 calories worth. Another thing I would do was diet sodas or sparkling water. That carbonation can help keep you full. You can see in that picture, I got the Pellegrino in there. That was vital for me. It still is vital for me to help keep my appetite suppressed. And the next thing was I intermittent fasted, which I know is a huge buzzword, but it does help. Not in the sense of losing weight, but it helps keep you full throughout the day because you're closing that window for your first meal. So I didn't eat till noon. So it's really easy to push off eating, for me at least, until noon. I'm just not really hungry in the morning. And if I do that, it condenses all my meals together so that throughout the day I'm not hungry. I think intermittent fasting for me, or not eating till noon, is so easy just because I drink black coffee and sparkling water. As you can see, that has been a staple for me in any of my cuts. Next, my sleep was dialed in. I use a white noise machine, I use blackout curtains, I took magnesium and read a book before bed every single night. And the biggest thing was a consistent wake up time and just keeping a solid routine. I used to have the worst sleep ever, but that was because I would wake up one day at noon, the next day at 10, one day at 1 p.m., then the next day at 5 a.m. I was all over the place, where if I just decided to wake up 8 a.m. every single day, that really helps fix your sleeping. And I'm talking about even on the weekends. If you're not getting good sleep, you're not going to get good recovery. And if you're not getting good recovery, you're never going to make results. So make sleep your number one priority. I was still drinking at the time, not nearly as much, only a handful of times a month. And when I did drink, it was strictly tequila or vodka only. Something else was that I never ate while I was drunk. I treated drinking as like a fasted window. This is the only time that I starved myself. We all know how it feels to get like the drunk munchies, but I made sure that every single time when I was drunk, I would never, ever eat. And I would feel hungry, sure, But I would wake up the next day and be like, oh wow, I'm so glad I didn't eat. I'm not hungry right now. I feel good. And a lot of times I would end up losing weight after I drank. So don't know how that worked, but it did. So I stuck to tequila sodas or vodka sodas with lime in it, just to keep drinking as low calorie as possible without being strictly that doesn't have any fun. And then also I still did go out and eat with friends. I'm not one of those people where I think you have to stick to your meal prep 24/7. You can't go out with friends. I still did go out with my friends and family to eat, but if I did, it was always a plain protein like a chicken breast or a steak. And then I always picked a smart side, to the lowest calorie side possible: rice, veggies. I never had fries or like a salad covered in ranch. If there was an appetizer of bread, I would never eat it. I avoided sauces unless I knew it was low calorie, like buffalo sauce is usually what I paired with my chicken breast. And I never drank any liquid calories. The only calories that I drank were protein shakes. And that's really about it. I know that's some simple things, at least I think they're simple, but the simple things are the things that work. So to recap, bare minimum, 10K steps a day, and that's bare minimum. Ate in a moderate deficit. I didn't starve myself, and I made sure I had high protein every single day. Prioritize sleep, consistency, especially with your schedule, and just made smarter choices when going out, when eating, whatever. I still had a life, I just didn't ruin it by binge eating or binge drinking, and I didn't ruin it, and I actually developed a little bit of discipline in my life and a schedule so that I wasn't a degenerate piece of shit. This goes to show that if you just do the basics consistently for a short period of time, 2 to 3 months, you can do a lot of progress. So I hope this helps simplify, I hope this helped simplify fat loss for you. I hope it made it more obtainable for you, and I hope it gave you hope. And I will see you guys in the next one.